Okay, good morning. It's just 12 o'clock up in the Northeast. It's 11 a.m. down here where I am. Uh, Today we got rain. What else is new? We're in a rainy season. It's been vicious down here. Uh, so it's going to make prices go up because anything that's grown in the ground, like you take a lettuce or something like that, that becomes waterlogged and it's not sellable. I've seen it already. The heads of lettuce are becoming, like the size of your fist. It's very bad for produce. You'd think a lot of rain's good for produce. It's not even good for rice, and they grow rice in water. So, you know, anyhow, I read an article yesterday, or I think it was yesterday afternoon. Now, I called his sister, Trump's sister, Mary, and I'm not sure, I don't think that's right, but I know her niece's name is Mary, or his niece's name is Mary. And she made a statement, said that there's absolutely uh, that Trump is a man that has absolutely no redeeming qualities. This is a relative of his, and there's several relatives of his that have said this, but people write them off as nutcases. He's crazy, but they're writing the others off as nutcases. They don't pay any attention to him. I think it's something we should be paying attention to because I do believe the same thing. I believe that he's nothing nice about him at all. There's nothing that can make the world better. He doesn't care. He's gonna do whatever he wants to, and I don't know. It's a crazy thing. Now that the debate is this Thursday night. Now I fully expect that sometime during the event, especially if Trump thinks he's losing in any way whatsoever, he will walk off and blame CNN and the any of the hosts and the technology and whatnot for the fact that he can't get a fair shake and that it's not working right. It's a conspiracy against him. Whatever. He's going to go off the rails probably. If he does that, nobody's going to pay attention to him because they'll be all upset because they'll believe what he's saying, not the fact that he's nuts, that he's cracking under pressure. Now I don't know whether Biden's going to hold up or not. I'm very surprised that the Democrats haven't looked into something, to some sort of replacement besides Kamala Harris. Unless the Democrats want the same thing the Republicans do, a totalitarian government. Maybe this is just their way of doing it without, where they don't have to take the blame if it doesn't go the way they want it to go. The politicians are experts at passing the buck, avoiding blame game. It's just a thing they do. Now I've heard. I saw an article. I think it was MSNBC's or could have been any one of the three that I look at: ABC, MSNBC, or CNN. Anyhow, the article said that Trump wants to raise prices across the board. Now we're just getting inflation under control in the United States. So doing something like that will cause poverty in a great many areas to just go poverty levels just to rise. And that's an example of Donald Trump not caring about what we refer to as I refer to as the common man, somebody like you or me, or somebody who's either retired on on a Social Security or is working for a living, trying to raise a couple of kids or something like that in a world that's very, very expensive. You know, um, I don't know how he'll do it. I don't know that raises a question of a whole different set of riots. I've seen food riots. I've seen riots. Okay, there's no controlling a riot. Once it reaches a certain point and the leadership snaps and they just go, it's mass hysteria. They're going to do whatever it takes. They're going to do whatever they want to do, and they don't care. They just don't care about anything else except getting what they want and going on like that. And that's pretty much the way the Republican Party's acting. They're not worried about inflation. If you get, if they want to raise prices like that, I mean, what do you think? They tell you, well, you'll make more money, and the companies will make more money, and the economy will be better. The economy only gets better when we can afford to buy what they're making, and that the luxury items are within the grasp of our credit rating. Okay, because nobody has cash to buy, except billionaires has cash, and they don't even do that. You know, they don't buy anything for cash. They're, it, I don't know how I keep getting so mixed up with this stuff because it's so stupid. It's simple, but trying to make it somebody understand what's going on is so difficult. And I told you I had this experience when I was a bartender, and people would come to me for young people because I was the oldest guy working in the place besides the managers. And people would come to me and ask me advice about certain things, and you would give them advice based upon your a little bit more experience than they had, and you would give it to them, and they would just say, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to do this. I'll be okay. And they weren't. Some people, would be okay, which is normal. I mean, and others were just, I don't know, the others were just screwed up forever. Now, when I'm looking at the politics of what's going on right now, I see, I read I forgot where I got it. I got this yesterday. That's my problem. I forget where I get things. But this was on the internet yesterday where it was a map showing the presidential situation right now. And Trump won by a fairly good margin, by almost 100 electoral votes, or a little bit more than 100 electoral votes. I think it was 322 to 216 for Biden. And that's what they felt they could they it would be accurate right now if the election took place right now. I don't see that. I see that as a huge possibility, but I still don't understand it. You're asking for a totalitarian government. If you look at the most of the first year that Trump was first term Trump was president, it's considered a very chaotic presidency. Okay, and under some reason or another, people assume because it's something like 8 years later or something like that, it's gonna be better. And if you listen to the guy, it's gonna be worse in terms of chaos, because he wants to punish everybody that disagreed with him, that protested him, and told him and called him what he was, an idiot. I don't worry too much. I'm a little guy. And if he does, I'm not going to be around much longer anyhow. I'm not going to stand there and take any shit that he throws at me. That's for sure. Trump's going to hurt a lot of people. Not the rich people, not the above average income people, but the average and below income people are going to get slaughtered. People are going to die because of this president if he gets elected. A lot of people are going to die. If they give him immunity, even more people will die. It'll be a slaughter. It'll be a one-sided revolution until the people with guns realize he's a dangerous man and start to do something about it. It's probably the end of democracy, at least the way we know it, And I don't have proof or any great vision of anything like that. I just sit around and think a lot during the day, and I read articles, and I say, I've seen this. I know this is going to happen, you know, or I've seen that, and I know that's going to happen, and it's not going to be good. But anything you read about Donald Trump, any article, and these are I've seen quotes by Donald Trump that say he's going to go after everybody that did everything to him. He's going to prosecute the judges that and the prosecutors that tried to prosecute him. He's going to he wants full immunity. Now they hate to give full immunity to even unless they're getting something bigger in return. And giving him full immunity will only get a lot of people killed. And a lot of people, what they don't understand is, if he orders you, like in the military, there's the thing in the Uniform Code of Justice that says if you're given an unreasonable order, especially one in a domestic situation, you don't have to. You can appeal it or try to disobey it or whatever, or just not do anything. And yeah, you'll get charged, but you'll win. But in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of people dead. The military is going to fracture. I still believe that he'll invite Putin and Xi. I don't know about Kim, but Putin and Xi will be invited to his inauguration. That's just the way he is. He's going to start selling the country down the tubes as soon as he's in office. And you say, nah, he won't do that. He's a patriot. He's a patriot. My ass. The only thing that guy's patriotic about is his pocketbook. That's all he's interested in is him. He's not interested in you. He's not interested in the rest of the people in the United States. He's not interested in the welfare of the Chinese or the Russians or the Indians or anybody else. He's only interested in his own welfare. And to a degree now, at this time, it's so much worse than when he was elected president the first time. And the problem is here that I see if he's not elected this time, it's going to be very difficult if Biden gets elected, it's going to be very difficult for him to govern with the chaos that's going to be present in this country. It's going to be present in this country. He's liable to truly start a civil war. And I sincerely hope the first person to get shot is him. Because I'd love to see him go see his body someplace and just piss on it. I really can't stand this man. And it's not just his political conviction. He's just not a nice human being. If you study his family life, he doesn't have a family life. His kid has been out of contact with him. His wife, Melania, I don't know why. To me, it doesn't look like it's said that way, but that's the way they pronounce it on TV. Is doing a fairly good job of keeping this kid out of trouble. Because now he's reaching a point where he can leave home if he wants to. He's over 18 now. He's a emancipated child or an adult now. He can do whatever the hell he wants to. And I don't think he's going to be on his father's side. I think that kid is, if he's got to do something really horrible. I think of all the kids in his family and whatnot, I think he's capable of more horror than anybody else because he's been shielded from everything. He's been shielded from the results of it for so long. He's always been protected. That's what Trump was. Trump was always protected. His father kept him out of jail, or kept him out from being expelled from school and a lot of other things. His father's money. Anyhow, I'm going to keep an eye on Trump and anything I can find for the upcoming debate. But here's some, I'll tell you what you get. He's pushing for Biden to take a drug test. If they do anything with Biden, they'll put him in a hyperbaric chamber, which will bring him back to reality. Okay, they did that with Colonel Sanders years and years and years ago, back in the 70s. Just no late. Trying to what was I doing back then? Yeah, the early 70s or late 60s. That was done to because he was senile, and he would become flooding his body with oxygen temporarily relieved a lot of the senility. You know, I'm gonna have to do that soon too, probably. I don't know. I can't. Except I don't even know what a hyperbaric chamber is down here. I don't even think they're around anymore. I think I don't know what they use them for now. They were used basically for various operations where a lot of oxygen was needed. I don't know whether that's a good idea or not, but anyhow, they thought it would help slow down the growth of disease and mental deterioration and what have you. So maybe they're not even being used for that anymore. But anyhow, I'm going to watch what's going on because the articles are all talking about Trump in total panic over debate goes berserk online. Donald Trump's cognitive test results are in and mega's scared. Trump supporters desert him and exit GOP. Those articles aren't backed up by some very serious poll taking and what have you that's going on. You know, like I said to you, he's winning the election, and that's tremendously bad for the United States and democracy for the free world. You know, we'll be lucky if he only starts a war in the United States and doesn't go out and start World War III. He's stupid. He just, you know, he cannot stand to be disagreed with. He cannot stomach having somebody tell him, you can't do that. That's wrong. You're wrong. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't believe it. He never believes he's wrong. He never admits he's wrong. Now, that has worked for him personally, pretty good. Doesn't work for the people around him. You know? He never had a full cabinet. Did you know that? He never had a full cabinet. The whole 4 years he was in office. That's kind of crazy, too. All right. You know, I get these thoughts coming into my head, and I could be here all day talking like this, and I don't think anybody's going to listen to me after this. You get to a attention span of individuals, I've always felt is about maximum 20 minutes. You know, that's like you sit in church and the priest is up there for an hour. Don't ask him after the first 20 minutes. Don't ask anybody what he said, because they won't remember. All right, I'm out of here. Talk to you tomorrow.